This video is about VegMachine forage reports. A VegMachine forage report is a detailed ground cover report for your grazing property. It provides paddock by paddock and land type by land type assessment of ground cover change from 1990 to the present. It's very simple to read and it's easy to create, and this video will show you how to do that. All you really need to create your VegMachine forage report is a digital map of your paddocks. So you need to have a file on your computer that shows the layout of your paddocks. Now this can come from several sources. You may have mapped your paddocks in Google Maps or with commercially available software like Phoenix Mapping, or you may have used the Spatial Hub online tool. Alternatively, your property may have been mapped by your local NRM group or by a professional consultant using GIS software. All of these sources produce a file that VegMachine can use to generate your forage report. And if you don't have any of those, it is possible to simply map your paddocks in VegMachine. So there is a variety of paddock file formats that you can import into VegMachine, and I'll just quickly show you the different file formats. So there are GeoJSON files. These are a single file, and most typically if you have one of these, it's because you've already mapped your paddocks in VegMachine and you've saved that mapping as a GeoJSON file. Two other formats that you'll see here are KML and KMZ files, and they are typically used in Google Mapping, but they can be used by some other software as well. Again, these are single files. That's the KML. This is the KMZ, and you can import either of these into VegMachine. And typically your mapping would be in these formats if you've mapped your paddocks in Google Maps. The last one I'll show you is a shapefile, and this one can originate from mapping in a variety of softwares. Shapefiles are actually a set of files, as you can see here, and they include the .shp file, the shapefile that the name comes from. But a shapefile also includes a variety of other files, all with the same name. You can see here spyglass_paddocks. Spyglass is the property that we're looking at today, but the files are of different types. Now it's possible that your shapefile won't include all of the file types that you see here, but it will have a subset of them, and you'll need to zip all of these files so that you can import them as a single zip file into VegMachine. So I'll quickly zip these up. I select the one at the top, I hold down the Shift key, and I select the last one, and then I right click, I select send to compressed zip file, and here's the zip file, and that is what we will import to VegMachine. It's a very simple process. Just one more thing if you're using a shapefile, and if you want VegMachine to correctly label your paddocks when you see them in VegMachine, you'll need to tell VegMachine where to look to find the paddock names. Those names are stored in the DBF file. That's a database file. And if we were to open this in Excel, which I'll do now, now this is my DBF file opened up in Excel, and there is a row in this file for each paddock, and each column holds a different attribute for each of the paddocks. This is what we want here. This column is the column of the paddock names. Now in my case, the column is headed pad_name, and I'll write this down because I'll need that name a little later. Remember that this varies between shapefiles, so you'll need to do this for your own DBF file for VegMachine to know where to look. Alternatively, you can skip this, but your paddocks will be renamed Polygon 1, Polygon 2, etc. when it's in VegMachine. So I'll close this now, and we can go to VegMachine and get started. So here we are in VegMachine, ready to request our VegMachine forage report. And it's a very simple two-step process. You load your paddock mapping, and then you request the report. To load your paddock mapping, go to the menu panel and select Map Functions, then Import Polygons. This will open the pop-up called Import Polygons. For your polygon file, click Choose File and navigate to your paddock map file. This will be either a GeoJSON, a KML, or a KMZ file, or a zipped shape file, as we discussed earlier. I'm going to use the zipped shape file. Ignore the second box, Coordinate System. VegMachine will work that out from your polygon file. And finally, under Label, we tell VegMachine where to look for the paddock names in the paddock file. Here's a quick cheat sheet for what to put in that label box, and it all depends on the type of polygon file you're importing. I'm importing the zip shapefile, and you'll remember from earlier that I checked the DBF file, and the label I found was pad_names. That's what I'll write in here, being sure to get the punctuation right. If my polygon file had been a GeoJSON, then I would put the text VMID in the label box, all capitals except for the D. And if my polygon had been either a KML or a KMZ file, then I would put name in the label box, capital N and then small AME. Now we just hit upload and our paddocks should plot on the map. Okay, so here is my paddock mapping. You can see two things here. First, if I hover over a paddock, VegMachine shows me its name. If I'd put nothing in the label box at the previous step, the paddocks would still map, but they would have names like Polygon 1 or Polygon 2. So that's the benefit of knowing what to put in that label box at the previous step. A second thing to note is that your paddocks are probably all white. White paddocks are unselected paddocks. If you want any paddock to be included in your VegMachine Forage report, you need to select it by clicking on it. You can see as I do this now, selected paddocks become transparent. And I want all my major paddocks included in my report, so I'm going to select all of them now with the help of a little fast forward magic. And with all my paddocks selected, I can now request my report. To request the report, just go back to the menu and click Reports and Forage, and this will open a pop-up box. Ignore report type here and go straight to email. Here you just put in the email address you want the report sent to. So I put in my email. And in the label box, typically you would just give the name of the property because this is just text that will be appended to the labeling of the report. Once that's done, I click Submit, and after a few seconds I'll get a message saying that the request has been submitted. Your PDF report will then be sent to the email address that you provided, and it generally takes around 20 minutes to arrive. So that's how you create a VegMachine Forage report for your grazing property. Our next video will walk you through interpreting that report. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to check out our help page. This includes a contact email and links to our manual and to the VegMachine Facebook page.